Hello. In this presentation entitled How to Speak So People Want to Listen, you're going to hear about the importance of nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication includes facial expressions, gestures, body language, posture, use of space, eye contact, and appearance. Though your presentation is not formally assessed in the ECON3, these aspects are fundamental to an effective presentation. As you go through this presentation, stop, take notes, and ask yourself to what areas of nonverbal communication do you need to pay specific attention to. Here is the schedule for presentation practice for ECON3 in Q2. Do take a few seconds to read this carefully and make a note of it in your diary. In Q2, some class time each week will be dedicated to talking about key features of presentations and presentation skills and to putting these skills into practice. This will happen through mini presentations which are not assessed. The schedule for these sessions is shown here in the summary and for further details in the course book on the UV. In each presentation practice session, you will have a checklist by which you can evaluate peers and also ask yourself how you measure up to the given criteria. At the end of the 8 weeks of classwork and practice, you will have a number of ideas, tips, and evaluation criteria which will guide you in the design of your speech, visual support, and delivery of your presentation topic. If you need further guidelines or help, you can ask your teacher or the course coordinator. Here you will find a very good example of how not to prepare for your presentation. Watch the video, make some notes on what not to do, and check your notes with a partner. Before you go any further, ask yourself, what is your biggest challenge in preparing and giving a presentation? Make some notes to share with a partner or in class. Before you go any further, make a list of do's and don'ts regarding presentations and share with a partner or in class. Presenting is a skill you can learn. The more you practice, the better you will become. On the UV, go to the tile entitled Resources for each skill area and click on Speaking. In the folder, you will find subfolders which contain a lot of advice regarding presentations, including some useful video, audio, and reading material to guide you in preparing your unassessed presentation. Remember, a presentation is not the same as an essay. Some of the common mistakes presenters make are listed here. These faults will be dealt with in each of the 4 PowerPoint presentations you will see in Q2. This PowerPoint presentation will deal mostly with aspects of nonverbal communication, but it is also important to keep in mind the importance of good verbal communication, good preparation, your speech speed, intonation, and volume, which will be dealt with in PowerPoint 2, time management, the structure of your presentation, and the use of visual support. Some presenters forget their audience. Remember that in the ECON3 presentations, the audience is comprised of third year economics students. If you want to talk about GDP, you might mention that it means gross domestic product for the first time you refer to it, but you do not need to go into a long explanation about GDP, as your audience should already know what it is. A lot of information is communicated through non-verbal channels. These include eye contact, body language, tone of voice, pitch, speed, volume, pauses, and facial expressions. Some researchers say that non-verbal communication is so important that if your non-verbal communication and your verbal communication disagree, people will trust the non-verbal message over the verbal message. Verbal communication is, of course, very important, and this will be dealt with in the next PowerPoint. Pay attention to the characteristics of a good speaker listed here. A good speaker pays attention to eye contact and body language. They are confident and energetic. They use hand gestures and they demonstrate a positive attitude. In general, good speakers are there to give and not take. They show up with a positive attitude in order to share something that they know and they think someone else should hear. Speakers who make eye contact with the audience typically make a strong connection with them. Avoid looking down as this is distracting. Most speakers look to the ceiling or the floor when they're struggling to find the right words. If you do this for long periods of time, you risk deconnecting from your audience. Being well prepared means you spend more energy and focus on the connection with the audience and less time thinking about what to say. Avoid being too intense with your eyes. Be friendly. Your facial expressions should be relaxed. If you're speaking to a big group, try and divide the group into 3 different sections in your mind. Pick someone in the middle, someone on the left, and someone on the right. Look at them specifically once in a while. You don't have to look at everybody, but people will think you're looking at them if you're looking at a section. When shifting your focus from one area to another, try not to follow a pattern, otherwise you'll appear unnatural, robotic. In small groups, make sure to have locked eyes with every single person in the room. Don't do it too quickly. How long? Well, experts say 3 to 5 seconds per person. Others say long enough to finish a thought or a sentence. This can also help you slow down your speaking rate. Make direct eye contact. Try not to look over people's heads. Be particularly aware of eye contact for important moments in your talk. Maybe something at the beginning, something pertinent in the middle, or at the end. Do you think it's possible to control body language? Do you think you are good or bad at reading body language? No matter how you answer these questions, you can pay attention to body language and you can improve on bad habits by being aware of your weaknesses in this area. Avoid shuffling your feet or moving unnecessarily. Avoid not using your hands. Avoid pacing the floor, zooming into the audience. Avoid looking down or relying on your notes too much. Have a look at each photograph here. Which of these postures do you think works best for public speaking? In my opinion, 2, 3, and 7 work best. Why? Well, I think in 2, 3, and 7, each of these postures are open and inviting. The speaker looks relaxed and confident rather than closed or threatening. Here are some tips for good body language. Typically, a good speaker faces the audience with an open body position or stance. Their posture is upright, poised, and balanced. The head and neck and shoulders are relaxed. Typically, they stand in the center of the room, neither to the left nor to the right. The speaker does not shuffle their feet or pace the floor. They typically don't sway from side to side or rock back and forth. Learn from the experts. Watch how these speakers stand naturally. A good speaker pays attention to using the hands and arms to add clarity to their speech. Hand gestures can add clarity, emphasis, and energy. Hands are generally kept empty except for a few note cards or a clicker to control slides remotely. The elbows are not locked against the ribs but are held loosely, and arms can rest at the sides between points, but hands are never in pockets. You can move around a little during your presentation. It is important not to remain too static. Taking a few steps can help you channel your nerves, but you should always move with a particular purpose. For example, to approach someone who is asking a question, or for effect, to emphasize a particular point. But don't pace the floor from side to side. Walk, stop, and share your message, and then move again. Think about the 3-point walk or the speaker's triangle, the ideal triangle on the floor which defines your movement within space. An effective speaker pays attention to facial expressions. They smile appropriately and maintain a relaxed face. They use a variety of facial expressions, for example, nodding for emphasis or agreement. They also hide some of their expressions, for example, avoiding looking irritated or upset if something goes wrong. Only you know if there's something going wrong. There is no need to share this with the audience through your facial expressions. Here are the 4 elements of body language which are crucial for consistently effective presentations. First of all, eye contact. A good speaker pays attention to looking at the audience, not at their notes, the floor, or the ceiling. They establish eye contact with various people around the room, not just scanning the room mechanically, and they generally hold eye contact for 3 to 5 seconds. Posture. Body posture is open and relaxed. Movement is used for purpose and effect, not just for the sake of moving. The speaker pays attention to the 3-point walk or the speaker's triangle. Hand gestures. These are used to add clarity, emphasis, and energy. The speaker might hold some notes, but they pay attention not to over-rely on their notes and never read word for word. Facial expressions. The face is relaxed. It demonstrates a positive attitude. Okay, so it's over to you. So now you have an opportunity to practice in pairs, small groups, or individually. You can find a topic to speak about by going to the article at the beginning of Unit 4 on the UV, or if you wish, you can negotiate a topic with your teacher. Prepare to deliver your presentation in class. Use the checklist for Presentation Practice 01 when assessing your own speech or when peer reviewing the speech of a classmate. And good luck.